going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Sixth Borough Sports Podcast. I am your host, Rick Guerino. It is so good to be back. I've been away on vacation the last couple of weeks. Finally was getting some sun, was in San Martin. It was a beautiful time. Never been. I highly recommend. Best sushi, best seafood I've had in a very long time. Feeling a little bit, but not normally as bad as I would if I went to like Mexico or anything. I actually did the proper sunscreen routines, which kept me alive for pretty much the whole trip. And I'm happy I did that. And I'm not suffering for it now. First of all, just shout out to Rory McIlroy on winning his second consecutive Masters tournament. There's a real argument right now that you could probably be the world number one over Scottie Scheffler, being the only or the fourth ever golfer to win the Masters in back-to-back years, one of five guys with a career Grand Slam. You're legitimately in the Golf Mount Rushmore conversation, Rory. Congratulations. Hoping to see you win some more tournaments this year. You deserve it. It's been a long time coming for you to finally get the monkey off your back this year or last year. And now we're seeing the success completely translate through. But I'm not trying to bury the lead here. The Mets and Yankees have been, for lack of a better term, unmitigated disaster. It has been terrible watchings on both ends. Both have lost 5 straight. Their star players are completely underperforming. Both have a clear identity crisis. They don't know who the true leaders are on the team anymore. They have some of the largest payrolls in the sport to be playing this badly. And at least, like, the Mets, they have Juan Soto hurt. Like, at least you guys have that excuse. But the play of Francisco Lindor has been unacceptable to this point in the season. They're 16 games in, and you and I have the same amount of RBIs as he does. That is not great for your starting shortstop. Bo Bichette has been underwhelming. He's batting like 235, but I mean, that's better than most of the people on the Yankees at this point. Marcus Simeon's even worse. I'm pretty sure he's batting less than 200. Jorge Polanco's batting under 200. Carson Bench has had a real rough start to his MLB career. The rookie has not really got it going. I'm not worried about Carson Bench. I'm sure he's going to be fine. He just needs some time to adjust and see some real big league pitching. I'm sure he's going to be okay. Luis Robert and Francisco Alvarez are just about the only ones truly contributing offensively. Luis Robert has actually been as good as advertised. He's been hitting home runs, but he's just about the only one. Juan Soto, he was good when he was healthy, but he's only played half the games to this point. The pitching has been better than the offense for the Mets, but that's really not saying much. Like, Freddie Peralta and Sean Manaea have been good. They're both in the threes with their ERAs. Clay Holmes has been fine, but we all know that he is not the most conditioned. He's not good with longevity into this season. I don't think he's going to be able to keep up this start, similar to what happened last year. David Peterson, Kodai Senga, just been terrible, straight up bad. Luke Weaver has completely regressed. He started out the season good, but he has looked like he did in the Yankees uniform last year, which was very bad. He has an 8.10 ERA to start the season. Devin Williams has actually been okay, but trust me, it's not going to happen. It's not going to last. Like, you don't get your hopes up that he's going to, like, change it around. It'll be too good to be true. Just give it a couple more weeks. He will blow a really crucial save for you guys, and it's going to be hilarious. I mean, you guys have even resorted to calling up Craig Kimbrell from the minors for your bullpen support. I know that Garcia guy just got demoted yesterday after he blew up the other day. And if that's all you have as plans for backup for your pitching staff in the bullpen at this point, yikes. Like, that you don't have much help on the way is what it really comes down to. And the problem, similar to what it is with the Yankees as well, and I'll get into this, but the Mets payroll is entirely too high. They are a top 3 payroll in baseball, up there with the Yankees and Dodgers. And for them to be performing this bad with Juan Soto or no Juan Soto, it's unacceptable. And this is the result of the Mets front office completely gutting the team from last year. No Pete Alonso, no Brandon Nimmo, guys like that. And replacing them with a bunch of misfit toys. But at least with that angle, have the excuse of like, oh, it's only early. This team has only played together for 16 games so far. We need to give them time to gel, and they're going to be okay. The Yankees do not have that luxury because this is the team that they've decided to go to war with. This is the team that they doubled down on from last year. I said over the winter that they were running the same team back from last year, and we had no hope of winning a World Series. And Brian Cashman doubled down on the fact that it was not, in fact, the same team as last year. But, Brian, it actually turns out you were right, because this team is 10 times worse than we had to deal with last year. It's way worse than anything than we were expecting. Ben Rice is legitimately the only one on offense for the Yankees that's capable of hitting a ball out of the infield right now. Aaron Judge hit a home run today, but as JoJo famously said in 2006, it's just a little too late. He's clearly been in a funk since a World Baseball Classic. And when he's not going, the entire offense isn't going. So much from what we've seen in the past with the Yankees. And the fact that they're entirely still too reliant on Aaron Judge being able to produce for them to be any good just shows you how poorly the team has been constructed. Giancarlo got off the season started and he was scorching hot, but he's come back down to earth since then. He's really not been good. Jose Caballero, I know he had an RBI last night, but he was like 3 for like his last 35, I think, going into today. He hasn't been good. Trent Grisham, the $22 man, our leadoff hitter, batting 133. And that's with Aaron Judge hitting behind you. It's like we all knew that this wasn't going to work out. We all knew that Trent Grisham was not going to be able to replicate his season last year. His numbers are miserable. Maybe his underlying metrics look a little better, but he's still not producing at a $22 million player a year as what he's getting paid. We have Ryan McMahon looking like he's never swung a baseball bat before. That's another $16 million that we're paying for absolutely zero production in the lineup. Randall Grichuk, for whatever reason why this guy's on this team, I guess it's just a pinch run for Giancarlo Stanton to be a DH, but he doesn't have a hit yet in 8 games so far this year. Paul Goldschmidt, they're not using him late in games. He's an ex-MVP that Aaron Boone just doesn't trust to pinch hit against lefties for whatever reason. Yeah, I get it. His splits against righties are much better, but Paul Goldschmidt's a professional hitter. He's an ex-MVP for a reason. He knows how to hit a baseball. And then we have Jazz Chisholm. And between the excuses of him saying it's too cold, showing absolutely zero approach at the plate except for taking daddy hacks the entire time. He has no two-strike approach. To last night saying he doesn't know how force-outs work in the post-game press conference. A Major League Baseball player openly admitting he doesn't know the rules of baseball. How is that possible? How is that defended? Aaron Boone is out here today saying that Jazz isn't a dumb person. Well, he made himself look pretty fucking stupid last night. Just admit you made an error and move on. Say you can be better. That's all we're asking. When you come out and openly say you were trying to pull some heroic bullshit, and then you openly say that you don't know the rules and how force-outs work, come on, man. Like, are we serious? We cannot be serious. All you do is talk, how you're going to be the first 50-50 baseball player in history. You haven't hit a home run yet, by the way. How he thinks you're the best second baseman in the league. You're batting 179 with a 500 OPS. You're believing that you're going to get a $40 million contract next year. I'm all for you wanting to be confident and believing in yourself, but at least back up some of the talk. Ever since you've come to the Yankees, we're the best team in baseball. Oh, I'm the best second baseman in the league. Oh, I'm going to be the first 50-50 player in the league's history. All you do, you're just making yourself look confident to a point of arrogance and delusion. You need some media training, bro. Like, the Yankees should have you a lot more buttoned up than this. And his defense last night is just exactly what we do expect from this Yankees team, because it's exactly how the Yankees have played ever since Aaron Boone took over. They don't know how to play defense. We still haven't learned from the World Series. We saw last night that no one in the infield knows how to field a bunt properly. And considering that, like I said, we just didn't bring this over from the Joe Girardi era of things where this would be completely untolerated. not knowing how to actually, field a baseball as a professional baseball player. What a novel concept. It's just a lackadaisical thing that doesn't get taken care of. They clearly don't practice it. It's not covered in spring training. No one seems to care about it. And Aaron Boone will be the first one to come out and say, yeah, of course we practice this. And it definitely doesn't reflect it. And that's on you, bro. You're the manager. You're supposed to be able to make sure that these guys are ready for any situation. And we know when they're not playing in a 3 true outcome situation, they have no idea what to do with themselves. And everything that has happened this year is exactly what anyone watched the games from the last 5-6 seasons knew exactly what was going to happen. This team and its philosophy has remained unchanged. They're broken. This is the highest payroll in Yankee history. And we have 2 everyday players in the lineup that are batting over 250. 2. That's it. And there's a whole sect of Yankee fans that is like, oh, calm down. It's only April. We're only 16 games in. It's not that big a deal. It's just a slump. We've seen this movie again and again and again and again and again and again, and we're tired of it. How are we supposed to act like there's no reason to worry? This is not just another slump. This is exactly who this team is. They are showing us exactly who they are. And to be clear, I'm not worried at all. Because they're performing exactly how we expected them to. This is all going according to plan. They're going to play just good enough when it matters to squeak into the playoffs, win 94, 95 games, maybe get a wild card spot, maybe win the division, probably not. And then they're going to play exactly like they're playing right now when it comes to actually, when it matters. And we're going to get knocked out in the ALDS or the wild card round. And then Brian Cashman is going to go out and say, you know what, we gave it our all. It just didn't work out. Another crapshoot where it didn't work out. Yes, I know, the 10th year in a row where the craps just didn't go our way. You can call me a fake fan. You can call me a bandwagoner. I don't care. But I know that there are 1,000 other Yankee fans like me who are frankly sick and tired of watching the same exact story play out year after year. And the best part of this is we don't have anything to look forward to. There's no chance of us getting better. Jason Dominguez is batting .354 in the minors, 7 stolen bases, but we can't bring him up because we have $22 million man Trent Grisham blocking him. I know Jason Dominguez needs to learn how to field a fly ball first, but he could at least be DHing or at least be playing his natural position in center field. Maybe he'll actually play better. George Lombard is batting .667. Yes, you heard me right, .667 in AA with almost a 2,000 OPS. But we're not going to see him in the majors for at least another 4 years because Cashman has to manipulate his service time or, just make sure that Volpe, we need to give Volpe another chance 7 years in just to make sure that, what if he does actually break out 7 years in, even though he's going to be playing with subpar defense and a 220 batting average. It'll be 2035 and we'll be giving Volpe, one more chance. Spencer Jones having a .471 slugging percentage in AAA. Again, we'll never see him because we have Trent Grisham and Giancarlo Stanton blocking him. And all this goes back to Brian Cashman. Yeah, you're going to hear me rant on him again right now because, we are currently paying Ryan McMahon and DJ LeMahieu. Yes, the one who we DFA'd in the middle of the season last year because he was so bad. We're paying those two a combined $38 million. Did you also know that when Manny Machado, pretty good third baseman, was a free agent, we didn't even make him an offer. And you know what the Padres are paying him right now? $25 million a year. I'm no math expert, but I do know $38 million for 2 players that can't hit a ball out of the infield and one that plays pretty decent defense is a lot worse than paying $25 million for a guy who's really good at defense and really good at hitting the ball. But I'm no Brian Cashman. What do I know? He's the boy genius. This is the same Brian Cashman that's going to go out of your way and tell you how smart and forward thinking he is. The same Brian Cashman, again, how he didn't offer Manny Machado anything when he was a free agent. He also didn't offer Bryce Harper anything. He didn't even make him a phone call when Bryce Harper was a free agent. Look how that's turning out. This team is so flawed. It's because of the man at the helm. It's because of egghead Brian Cashman. He's too arrogant to admit any of his mistakes. And he's too arrogant to admit that he's not capable of putting a winning roster together. He always has to galaxy brain and justify his moves because he never has to face any repercussions for the bad ones that he makes. The culture has been bred into the locker room that it's not anyone's fault. It just didn't work out. It was a bad roll of the dice. Our strategy was there. The execution just didn't happen the way we wanted it to. And Hal Steinbrenner is dumb enough to believe him. So this is going to be my mood on the Yankees moving forward until they show me anything worthy of actually caring about what they're going to do. You remember in 2009 when we had Robinson Cano in the 7 hole and he was batting 280 for the year? There wasn't a single guy in that lineup that was batting less than 250. 260, let alone. And now we have dudes that are lineup regulars who haven't even gotten a hit 16 games into the season. But what do I know? Again, I'm just a dumb fan. I can't possibly understand what Brian Cashman's going through or what he sees on the day-to-day. He's so much smarter than us. The only team that I can even be a little bit happy about is this team right here. The Knicks are locked into the 3 seed of the playoffs. And they're most likely going to be playing the Raptors in the first round. Barring anything completely unforeseen, it's basically locked in at this point. It would have to be a lot of Brooklyn Nets wins and stuff for this to be changed out. And I'm expecting the Knicks to handle this series very easily. Toronto is fine. They're a playoff team, but they're on the border of being a play-in team. The Knicks should have no trouble winning this in 5 games, 6 games max. It's Pascal Siakam and then his merry band of whoever the fucks. The Knicks should beat the crap out of the Raptors in the round 1. But that should get us nice and warmed up for we would be expecting to play the Celtics the next series. And we already have Jason Tatum loudly, for whatever reason, he's just saying he doesn't want to go back to MSG and he's scared of the Knicks, which is crazy to admit when you're clearly going to meet in the playoffs. So when we do see the Celtics in the second round, we need the Knicks faithful to be very loud. We need MSG to get on that little loser and get in his head. He can't text Kobe in the middle of the game and say, I got you, bro. MSG doesn't allow that shit. The Celtics are scared of us, and they should be. We're the better team. I don't care that they're the 2 seed and we're the 3 seed. We were the better team all year. I want us to embarrass them. It was embarrassing last year when we upset them. Now I want us to put it in concrete that the Knicks are truly the better team than the Celtics. We still have to play the games, though. And unless we get the Knicks version that is their best selves and Cat is able to drive offense and help Jalen Brunson actually run the offense, and we get Mikal Bridges able to make threes and Josh Hart contributing defensively and grabbing rebounds and maybe contributing a couple boards here and there, the Knicks are going to be able to win. And at this point, there really isn't too much left to talk about on the Knicks because they're just sitting the starters through the end of the season. And I'm going to have plenty of Knicks content coming out when the playoffs start on April 18th. So look out for that when it happens. So that's going to do it for any Knicks news at the moment. Now, for some news in hockey land, which I'm going to get pretty impassioned about here. The Devils did it. They finally did it. Tom Fitzgerald has been fired and is no longer the GM of the team. Like I said in that IG post a couple days ago, the bad man is gone. He can't hurt us anymore. I didn't think that they were going to do it. Every tweet, every communication from ownership, it just seemed like the status quo was that they were happy with the job that Fitzgerald was doing and nothing was going to change. And after a flurry of moves made across the league, GMs being fired, coaches being fired, the Devils decided to do the right thing. And they said, we need to get in on this too. And I'm so shocked that they actually did do it because everything to this point with the Devils just missing the playoffs again, and it just seemed like similar to what the Yankees are going through. It's just it just didn't work out. When all of these moves that I'm going to line up for you in a second are listed out, you realize, oh wait, this dude was actually a full blown dumbass. Like, he was not good at his job. Some of the bad moves that he's making, and this is just off the top of my head before I started recording, giving Palat that contract after not being able to close Johnny Gaudreau, God rest his soul, and then not being able to get Palat's contract off the books in time for us to try and trade for Quinn Hughes, giving up a first-round pick for 36-year-old Jacob Markstrom, and then giving him this 2-year extension after he's been playing horribly. Like, he was playing horribly at the beginning of the season. He's been horrible this entire season. He's probably a massive factor in why the Devils missed the playoffs this year. Countless bad drafts and wasted first-round picks. Alex Holtz, Shakir Mukhamadullin. I know he doesn't really count because he was used to trade for Timo Meier, but that was a strange pick at the time. Simone Nemeth, he can develop into a good defenseman, but Devils need centers. Anton Salaev is, again, another defenseman when we need centers, and he's already looking like a bust. Chase Stillman at the end of the first round in the 2021 draft made no sense. That dude was a fourth-round talent at best. Trading a second-round pick away for 20 games of Brian Dumoulin when we could have retained his entire salary and decided not to. Not being able to find a true winger for Jack Hughes. Paul Cotter does not fucking count. Paul Cotter was never going to be that answer. Giving everyone on this roster and your mother a no-move clause, which, again, contributed to not being able to land Quinn Hughes. That's the biggest one. What sealed his fate? Not landing Quinn Hughes this season. He straight up lied to the media, lied to the fans, said, oh, he could have pulled the trigger for Quinn Hughes. He just decided not to. No, we didn't have the cap space. We didn't have the assets. And it's because you've wasted all. Giving Luke Hughes too much money. Not trading a 7th-round pick for Fabian Zetterlund at the deadline last year when we were starved for depth scoring, who already had experience playing with Jack Hughes. And I just watched him about 20 minutes ago score his 17th goal of the season. And we could have had that for a 7th-round pick. Not being able to find a true replacement for Michael McLeod after the Hockey Canada stuff. However, he did have a couple good things during his tenure, and I'm willing to give him credit on these. Signing Jack to an extension early, which is probably the best contract in the league right now. Jack is way overproducing what he is being paid at the moment. Trading for Timo Meier, even though Timo Meier really hasn't been the guy that we thought he was since we've gotten him, I'm not going to fault Tom Fitzgerald for that. And then signing him to an extension below market value, which is incredibly valuable at this point because people were thinking he was going to get $10 million a year, and he got him to like 8.8. And then drafting Dawson Mercer. I know Mercer is a bit of a hot button issue. People can't tell if he's a bust or not. That dude has never missed a game in his career. He's producing at half a point a game for his entire career at this point. I don't consider that a bust. I think Dawson Mercer has been a good player. He just hasn't lived up to his potential. And maybe that's another failure of Tom Fitzgerald, not bringing in the staff to develop these guys to live up to their full potential. And then the last one, signing Dougie Hamilton. This can't go unsaid because signing Dougie as one of the first premier agents to ever sign with the Devils. The New Jersey was not a place that you signed with. We were always outbid by the Rangers or even the Islanders or Philadelphia or a bigger market team. New Jersey just wasn't a popular place to sign with. And Tom Fitzgerald really got it out to the league. And this is like doubling on top of this. Tom Fitzgerald got it out to the league that New Jersey is actually a great place to live and a great place to play. And if you want to win, you should come to New Jersey. And he got there in the first couple of years of his tenure, but then we've completely regressed since then, mostly by the bad moves that I listed out earlier. With all that said, we're facing the most important offseason in the history of the Devils franchise at the moment. Whoever the Devils hire this offseason to be the new GM has to be the right pick. It has to work out. There is no second chance with this core. If we get a guy that can't do it, then Jack Hughes might as well get traded. Nico Hischier might as well get traded. Jesper Bratt might as well get traded, and we'll just start. Because we're not going to be able to turn it around again. We have a very enviable situation right now where we have most of the core pieces in place that can contribute to a winning team. I think the guy that is going to be able to do this is Sonny Mehta from the Florida Panthers. He's the AGM of the Florida Panthers. He's from Wyckoff, New Jersey. He was a key cog and one of the first real hockey minds that started using analytics and was one of the main reasons that the Panthers were as good as they were the last couple of years. I know that they're missing the playoffs this year, but I think they're just tired from winning the Stanley Cup and going to the Stanley Cup for 3 straight seasons. He was one of the key minds behind that roster. And he grew up a Devils fan. Like, he got his start in hockey at Continental Airlines Arena. It just makes too much sense. We have to figure out how we're going to extend Nico Hischier, where we're going to get the cap space to do that. We're going to have to get rid of all of the dead weight on the team to make sure that we can become cap compliant again, because our cap space situation is garbage. We need to find a true winger for Jack Hughes to play with. And this is the most important thing that we can do. If it's up to me, I'm doing absolutely everything it takes to get Brady Tkachuk away from the Senators and on Jack's wing for the start of next season. The Canadian media has had it out for him ever since the Olympics happened. And probably even before that, they were a little testy with him. But now, just because he was on that Team USA, a lot of Canadian journalists are very anal with him and very pissy with the questions that they're asking him. And I think he's about fed up. I think he wants out, regardless if they're going to the playoffs this year or not. And if that's the case, he needs to have a different red and black sweater on next year. Jack and him are already great friends in real life. His wife is from Brielle. He has a shore house in New Jersey. It just makes too much sense. He would change the entire dynamic of the lineup, having him here as a deterrent for anyone that wants to fuck with Jack, and as a just bona fide hockey player, as a dude. He's going to be a wrecking ball on that line. He can score for Jack. He can set Jack up. He can create space. He is just everything that the Devils lack and everything that the Devils need. He would be a franchise changer if we were able to land him. The other thing that the Devils need to do is they need to put themselves in a position to win the Quinn Hughes sweepstakes when he's a free agent the year after next. They need to figure out that cap situation, like I was saying earlier, primarily, number 1, to pay Nico, to fit in Brady Tkachuk, and 3, Quinn Hughes. We need to assemble a Hughes Triforce. It needs to happen. That is how the franchise gets saved. That is how this core is not wasted. This is how this core wins a Stanley Cup. Extend Nico, you get Brady Tkachuk, you land Quinn Hughes, and you find a third-line center finally. Cody Glass has been great this year. He might hit 20 goals on the season. It would be his career high. I would love for that to continue next year. But we need to get stronger down the middle still. Moving out into the island, out of nowhere, Patrick Waugh got fired as the head coach of the New York Islanders, and Pete DeBoer was hired as his replacement, which I think is a great hire. I love Pete DeBoer. I will always have a soft spot for him from the 2012 Devils Cup run. But unfortunately, this change came a little bit too late, as the Islanders are going to miss the playoffs. And the Isles are now in a bit of a weird situation because it's almost like they didn't expect to be this competitive just yet. Like, Matthew Schaefer has been almost too good as a rookie. I think they were expecting to have like another top pick in the draft to supplement. And now that the fact that they're going to be in like the 15 or 16 pick area range, I just don't think that it was on their radar going into this season. I still think that the Islanders are going to be good for a really long time. I'm hoping Pete DeBoer has a soft spot for the Devils a little bit and takes it easy on us next season. I am enjoying Andre Palat suck it up over there, though. It was very funny when he was first traded to the Islanders, and a lot of the Islanders fans were happy about it and like thinking that they fleeced the Devils out of it by giving us this Siplikov kid who just hasn't worked out. He's not been very good. it's just like he scored in that first game with him, and then they all realize, oh my God, this dude is an absolute anchor. He is not like he just drags everyone down whenever he's on the ice. I'm so happy he is not the Devils' problem anymore. Meanwhile, in Midtown Manhattan, it seems like the Rangers are asleep at the wheel, or at least James Dolan is just clearly caring way more about the Knicks at this point. It's his only team, and it's the only team in the area that's going to the playoffs right now. And if the Yankees and Mets have anything to say about it at this point, it doesn't look like that's going to happen either. It's clear that the Rangers need to move on from Chris Drury. He hasn't been the guy basically since he's been appointed as the GM. And the front office has been a mess for them for far too long now. And it's cost the Rangers basically every shot they had at a cup from not being able to capitalize on when they had Panarin as the leading scorer. And Miko was in his prime, and Kreider was at the tail end of his years, but he was still contributing at a fantastic rate. The Rangers, if they're going to stay in pat, they're going to miss a lot of talent moving around in the NHL. The reason that the Isles and the Devils made the moves they did is because there was plenty of other moves going on in the NHL, and they realized, you know what, we need to get ahead of this. We need to have a proactive move, and the Rangers are going to make another safe, reactive hire that is going to be, it's just not going to work out for them. And as a Devils fan, that's great for me, but I feel for you Rangers fans, kind of. Not really, but I understand what you're going through, and it's not fun. But the Rangers should be trying to be a lot more reactive here and getting in on the train of when this new hire cycle is already underway and they're already behind the eight ball. And they don't seem to care about remedying that. Also, something that I learned last night, this is the first time in history that the Rangers, Islanders, and Devils are all missing the playoffs at the same time together. Like, that's never happened before in the history of the league. That's a sad state of affairs. That's where we are at in hockey land right now. We all can't point fingers and laugh at each other because we're all fucking terrible and in the dumpster. The Islanders have a little bit more hope than everyone because they have a generational prospect in Matthew Schaefer. And the Devils are in a good spot so long as that they can get the dead weight and dead cap off their books. But I digress. That's about it for all the news that's been going on this week. You're going to hear me ranting about the Yankees a lot more in the coming weeks. The Mets, I'm starting to understand why Frank the Tank is as angry as he is at the end of games because they're a hard watch at the moment. But I think we're going to wrap it up here. I missed you guys a lot. This was cathartic to get back on here and have these Yankee rants. Now, at least, like, we have actual play to go off of. Like, over the winter, it was just like, it was pure conjecture and just like, oh, I know this is going to happen. And now, like, seeing it out play out, I'm not happy that it's happening. I wish I was being proved wrong, but it's just like, I know I'm not stupid. I know you're like, I know you guys are not stupid. And you see how poorly that this team is. The Yankees need to turn around. The Mets are going to have their opportunity when things get warmer and the team gels and playing together. I'm not worried about them. The Yankees, they're hopeless. So go spend some time in the sun. We're going to have a great weather week this week. It's going to be like 77 and above every single day this week. I cannot wait. I'm going to be working outside. It's going to be awesome. All right. See you guys next week.